by chance you happen to be in the Windy City between May 28th and June 2nd of this year.
The second movie ended with Kolchak and company being kicked out of Seattle. They've landed in Chicago, where Vincenzo runs an independent news service called Independent News Service, or INS.
Subject of novels, plays, films, even an opera. Now, here are the true facts.
When YouTube appeared, Kolchak changed his name to Zay Frank and started doing true facts about a lot of things. Really, if you're not following that guy, you're missing out on some great stuff. Anyway, her name is Michelle, and there's a guy in a cape with a sword cane waiting for her. That's as much as we need to see.
Hey, grab that guy!
The notion of grabbing someone generally implies holding on to them afterward, but never mind. Another killing follows in rapid succession. Meanwhile, Tony Vincenzo is reaming Carl Kolchak. Again. He believes Carl overstepped his bounds. Again.
I did not state that I was a police officer.
No, but you acted like the police commissioner. You commandeered a private automobile. You had 6 people under arrest.
They were interfering. Listen, because of them, I missed one of the biggest stories of the year. I placed them under citizen's arrest.
The story was a bank robbery, one of the biggest the city has seen. Not only did he blow the story, he's created ongoing animosity with the local police, which makes getting information from them impossible. What's his punishment?
Good morning, Miss Emily.
Go play with your pimples.
How's it going?
You read these? Have you ever read any of these letters?
Sure I have.
Dear Emily, when a person has been doing something rather personal with another person, and she finds out the same thing has been going on with other persons, many of whom are personal friends or related, what is a person to do?
Miss Emily writes the advice column and she's on vacation. Guess who gets to fill in? Some of these letters are downright creepy.
Dear Emily, since I last wrote you, the man across from me at the south end of Wilton Park has come back. He is up to his old tricks, prowling around nights in that foolish costume and looking right through me with his X-ray eyes. Can he kill me with his eyes, or will they only make me sterile?
That depends on how much radiation his eyes put out and how far he is from you. If it's strong enough, he could eventually give you tumors, but other than that, yeah, he can probably sterilize you.
Hang in there. Miss Emily.
Let it all hang out uptight.
Up dike.
Certain.
I think Kolchak is right. Uptight is another reporter, and he thinks he's better than this out-of-town interloper. Kolchak can't stand it. He goes out for a drive to try and find something more interesting than this. On his police scanner, he hears that there's been another murder, and the police have the suspect trapped on a roof.
Hey, where do you think you're going? You can't drive over the sidewalk.
Press INS.
Get more light in that rooftop.
The guy is making hamburger out of the police that try to stop him. He's absorbing multiple gunshots without even reacting, and needless to say, he escapes.
Unit 3, cover the back alley.
Still, Kolchak should have a picture of his face. He's still using that stupid little Instamatic camera of his, but at least he got an electronic flash for it. In the second movie, he was using flash cubes. In the early days of home use cameras, you used flash bulbs. These were one-time use bulbs that would burn themselves out in a bright flash of light. If you watched my reviews of the 1950s Superman series, you saw Jimmy using them all the time. In the late 60s or early 70s, Kodak got a bright idea, put 4 bulbs in one package. Add a little mechanism on top of the camera and there you go. The flash cube had 4 sides, each with a bulb. After you triggered one, the camera would flip the bulb around and the next one was ready to go. This way you could take 4 pictures without having to change the flash. Then these cheap little electronic flashes came out, and apparently Kolchak thinks they're the cutting edge technology.
Yeah. Well, nothing. Nothing. It's just sheer mud. What'd I do wrong?
That pocket strobe light you got won't reach over 20 feet, so you just got a lot of headlights.
Kolchak is wrong about his cutting edge technology. Get a good SLR with a good strong flash. It doesn't fit in your pocket as well, but it gets you pictures of something other than headlights. Oh, for those who aren't familiar with fancy camera jargon, SLR stands for single lens reflex. This type of camera has been standardized to take 35mm film, and you focus it by actually looking through the lens, so what you see is what you get. There are models that are motorized, so you don't even have to wind the film. What you do have to do is invest some money. In the camera world, you really do get what you pay for. He paid for a $10 piece of crap suitable for taking vacation photos, and vacation photo quality is what he got. Trying to take newspaper quality pictures with that thing is like entering your Prius in the Daytona 500. Incidentally, I apologize for the audio misalignments. I will never figure out why it happens, but sometimes when I rip these DVDs, the audio comes out at a different speed than the video, and it doesn't always happen. The video runs at 29 frames per second. The audio might run at anywhere from 24 to 35 frames per second, and I couldn't tell you how it happens because it's never consistent. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, so I can't find a way to track down what's happening. All I can tell you is I'm doing the best I can. Thanks for being very forgiving. Vincenzo catches Kolchak writing the story and throws a fit. He says, "This isn't your story. I gave it to Updike and it's his baby."
It was horrible. Horrible.
Have you got any background on the murdered girl, Ron?
She's dead.
Maybe sending a guy whose nickname is Uptight wasn't the best idea. He just keeps saying, "It was horrible." Good luck meeting a word count with that. He'll take his trauma and go home, while Kolchak will take over the story. First stop, a police press briefing about the murders.
Question.
Good day, gentlemen.
Question.
Take your hat off.
Can you explain how the suspect jumped from the top of a 4-story building and survived?
There are a number of possible explanations. Fall might have been broken by something. He might have dropped from a lower floor. Fire escape.
Might have, but didn't. I know I was there. I saw it.
So did dozens of other people. It's clear the police department is prepared to lie about this case, but Kolchak seems to be the only person in the room who's concerned about that.
What about the letter? When can I publish it?
When it comes out of analysis, you'll be the first to know.
A letter from the Ripper.
If it's from the Ripper, how come you got it?
Because it's evidence, Mr. Kolchak. Evidence.
Yes, but it's never been unusual to allow the papers to print the content of such letters while the police are analyzing them. The captain is trying to keep a lid on this thing, which is a foolish move. Many people saw what this guy did, and denying it or trying to suppress it will end up being counterproductive. They never learn.
Well, if it's from the Ripper, it's also news, Mr. Warren. News.
Captain Warren, take your hat off.
What makes this so special, Captain? I mean, every newspaper in town's been getting Ripper letters from this kooks.
This may shock you, Mr. Kolchak. What we withheld from the press. Certain things the Ripper did to Miss Laura Moresco's body. Now, the letter that Miss Plum received describes in detail what those things were.
He wants to know what those details are, so it's time to take Miss Jane Plum out to lunch.
Jane Plum is fat. She talks a lot about water retention, big bones, but I have to believe the 6 or 8 meals a day with snacks in between to keep up her strength has a lot to do with it.
She is not fat. If she is, I don't want to know what these people think of me. The last time we saw Beatrice Cullen, she was Etta Candy on Wonder Woman. I know in the comics Etta was supposed to be overweight and all that, but this lady isn't. We've padded out her clothes and played with her makeup a bit to try and make her look plump, but it's not working. And the statement, Jane Plum is fat, could be considered an obscenity in today's world. Rightly so.
And Plum is a reporter, however. We have mutual respect, mutual trust.
I don't trust you, Kolchak. You double-cross your own fairy godmother for a story.
She already knows him. He wants the details, but she wants something in return, after she orders.
I'll have a tongue sandwich, triple-decker, a side of fries, macaroni salad, a root beer float, 2 scoops, and a piece of pecan pie.
That's supposed to reinforce the whole she's fat and it's her own fault thing. I don't know about the side dishes, but I'm pretty sure nobody ever got fat on tongue sandwiches. She needs an angle on the story. Her paper is basically a tabloid, and she's having trouble coming up with something lurid enough for them. He says, I can help you with that. They have a deal.
Besides what Warren said, the letter also had a P.S., a rhyme. And now a pretty girl will die so Jack can have his kidney pie.
I don't get it.
The murderer cut out her kidneys. Just like the original Ripper. There have been a lot of these mutilation murders all over the world.
She's been tracking them. It's possible they're looking at the original, unaltered Jack the Ripper. Jane thinks they're copycats, a contagious psychosis, she calls it. Carl isn't buying that part, but he has her headline and her angle.
Cannibalism.
Cannibalism. Oh, I love it.
Based on what she told him in the poem, it's not an unreasonable suggestion. She doesn't care about reasonable. She's excited because it'll sell papers. Our man kills again, this time at a massage parlor. Uptight is on the story.
Excuse me. Oh. Where's the men's room?
We can't read what's written on that mirror, but we'll learn it soon enough, after Uptight manages to keep from barfing all over the crime scene. The police won't let Kolchak in because INS already has a guy in there for all the good he is. But something else happened nearby that has his attention.
What happened?
I was doing about 30. A man runs out of the street. I hit him.
In a cape yet?
Where is he?
Tell him.
He walked away.
Walked away?
You're right. Nobody believe it.
Yeah, you're right. Nobody would believe it.
Even though the guy walked away and the car didn't. That thing is totaled, my man. Vincenzo is impressed by Jane's cannibalism story. She's agreed to meet with the Ripper anywhere and anytime he specifies, and she'll guarantee his safety. Will he guarantee hers? She has to know the answer to that, but she really wants this story.
That rag of yours, how can they let you take chances like this? You're liable to get yourself killed.
Aw, you sweetheart. You're worried about me.
Yeah, I'm worried about you.
Don't be.
What are you going to do, kill him with jelly beans?
This would stop a love-crazed moose in his tracks.
But so far, several of those have failed to stop this Ripper guy. She's not worried. She's already talked to 19 fakes, and this is getting her some good bylines. Kolchak is afraid it's going to get her more than she's bargaining for.
Now, they caught a Ripper in Germany, one of many, and they tried to hang him. They had a little trouble with the rope. However, here, let me show you some pictures here.
The various Ripper murders over the past century have all involved 5 women, no more, no less. They always follow the same pattern. He said our man has 3, and if he follows his usual procedure, he'll kill the other 2 tonight. Kolchak doesn't want her to be one of them.
Not before I get my story. I'm interviewing 3 potential Rippers tonight. And besides, he's not going to kill anybody. He promised.
Oh, he promised? Oh, that's great. That's just great.
No, it's true. He sent me another poem. Same thing that was written on the massage parlor mirror. Jack is resting, be reborn, to finish up on Wednesday morn.
And if you can't trust the word of a 100-year-old serial killer, whom can you trust? He can't dissuade her. Off to the massage parlor, because if Jack stays true to form, that's where he'll strike.
Miss, what's
Susan.
your name? Susan? Susan, listen, Susan, I didn't really come here for a massage.
You didn't?
No. See, I think something is going to happen here tonight. It could happen right here in this room.
You could watch.
That's right. Oh, no, oh, don't get the wrong idea. Please. My name's Carl Kolchak.
Hello, Carl.
Hi, Susan.
I'm Officer Cortazzo, and you're under arrest.
Somehow he never got around to the words, "I'm a reporter." Now he can explain it down at the station.
June 2nd, 1:20 a.m. Warren's plan was to get me out of the way, and it seemed to be working.
Unlike the previous victims, Detective Cortazzo manages to hold him off until help arrives and he runs away. Roberta Collins often played hard-nosed authority figures like this one, and she wasn't always a good guy. I know her as Matilda the Hun in the absurd cult classic movie Death Race 2000. We might look at that movie someday, because I'm pondering a new sub-series that I want to call Dumb Movies I Like Anyway. What are your thoughts on that? Anyway, since something did happen in that room worthy of a reporter's attention, they cut Kolchak loose.
I lucked out, and 5 minutes later I was back in the middle of the action, just in time to watch Chicago's elite tax squad trying to pin down one man without any success.
Seems like that's happened before and recently, but this time there's a difference.
Watch out! Stay away from the hot fence!
Something about that electric fence weakened him, and they've got him locked up in solitary confinement. A cop reports that he's escaped. The young man has a flair for understatement. Kolchak has been trying to explain the history of the Ripper in his own loud, obnoxious way and can't understand why nobody listens to his loud, obnoxious rantings. The electric fence took him down. In 1908, he escaped captivity because he was about to go to the electric chair. Electricity is his weakness. Nobody cares.
Yeah, hello, Miss Plum. This is Carl Kolchak. Is Jane there? Yeah, well, I'm worried about her, too. Where is she? Have any idea? Uh-huh. Yeah, Belmont Harbor. Yeah, the fire department pier. Get a piece of paper. Excuse me, I'm not you, Miss Plum. Yeah, the fire department pier on the Chicago River, yeah. And Wilton Park. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you, Miss Plum. Bye.
Wilton Park. Wilton Park!
He knows that place. The letter about the creepy guy with the X-ray eyes was from there, and suddenly the neighbor who only goes out at night and all the rest is taking on a more sinister tone. With help from Vincenzo and Updike, he finds the letter and goes to talk to the lady.
Never goes out in the daytime, only goes out at night.
Yes, indeed. Was he out tonight?
Yes, he was. 9:22.
She has a whole diary of his comings and goings, and they coincide nicely with certain events that our friend Updike would describe as horrible. She says tonight he met a young girl. She only describes the young lady as fat, or at least sort of fat. Time to go burgle old X-Ray Eyes' place and find out what's going on. Several tests confirm that our suspect isn't home at the moment. May as well try the front door first. When our suspect comes home, he's going to know someone either is here or has been here, but there's nothing to be done about that. Maybe he'll poke around outside a little bit first. Chicago used to have a whole chain of all-night building material stores, but the invention of Ambien put most of them out of business. There's a small stream or pond near the house. It's not hard to figure out what he has in mind. We watch him unroll the wire, jam one end into the electrical box, and set the other end aside near the water. Now he just needs to lure the Ripper over here. The best way to do that is to be nosing around inside his house when he comes home. At least that's the Kolchak way. I assume he knows what the best way is, which is probably a mistake now that I think of it. Our suspect can tell someone has been in the house, but the intruder doesn't appear to be here now, so he'll go on about his business. That is a very old-style shoe, which sort of helps confirm everything Kolchak is thinking about this guy. He went out and left a teapot full of water on the stove to boil. He may know how to live forever, but he doesn't seem to know how fires are started. That glimpse is all we'll see of the Ripper's face. And I told you poking around his place when he got home is the best way to lure him out. It's working perfectly. Let's take a moment to mourn poor Jane because she'll never be mentioned again. Looks like none of these people care enough to pause a moment and consider her untimely passing. But someone should, so I nominate us. A moment of silence, please. Okay, that's enough. He tried to warn her. She died of overeagerness and a lack of caution. Rest in peace, Jane. And you weren't fat. The authorities won't find anything in the water except some old clothes. And there's nothing at all left of the house. The fire destroyed everything. Presumably it also cremated Jane's body. But as I said, nobody will think of her again. It doesn't seem fair.
One thing survived the inferno, however. There's enough of it left to read the name of the maker. Peel's Footwear, London, Southwest 1. They're still there, of course, but they don't make this style shoe anymore. It was discontinued over 70 years ago.
And he can't write the story because nobody would believe it. Least of all Vincenzo, who would put it in file 13 and dare Kolchak to pull it out. Now, if he wants to write that kind of stuff, I hear there's an opening at the paper Jane used to work for. But he should wait at least a week. Pouncing on her job too quickly would just be tacky. This out-of-town interloper. I think Kolchak, okay, good grief. Standardized to take 35 millimeter foam is like anything.